Pokémon has always been one of my favorite video game franchises. To this day, I have played games from every generation except Generation 7, that being Sun and Moon and their sequels. But I think we can all agree that the franchise has gone a bit downhill lately, especially with Sword and Shield. But what if I told you that you don't have to rely on Game Freak when it comes to Pokémon games? Let's take a look at the most legendary Pokémon fan game, Pokémon Uranium. Time to go back in time to the 5th of October 2008. On this day, a person known as JV from Rio de Janeiro hits the new project button in RPG Maker XP. With the help of the incredible Pokémon Essentials template, they start working on their very own Pokémon fan game. Only 10 days later, they pitched their idea to the Poké community forums, together with some screenshots of how the game looked so far. On the 24th, a spriter called Zephyr Puzzle joins them on their journey, followed by another one called Zoran on November 6th. On November 12th, JV released the first actual gameplay of Pokémon Uranium. It showcased the first 7 minutes of the game in its current state. And of course, it features an unregistered Hypercam 2 watermark. As 2009 rolled around, progress was steadily being made. New sprites, better tiles, and new Pokémon. On January 29th, we got another piece of gameplay, a couple Pokémon battles, as well as a part of the current Pokédex. Only about a month later, the world got to see another 4-minute chunk of gameplay. The months passed with further progress being made. Then on June 3rd, JV dropped a massive update, a new title screen, screenshots of different roads and towns, as well as the current Pokédex with 40 unique Pokémon. Progress only seemed to be speeding up, and on October 5th, 2009, 1 year after the project was started, a first demo was released. Sadly, the download link doesn't exist anymore, and I couldn't find any footage. If anyone still has a version of this ancient demo, please do let me know. Anyways, the demo was a big success, with many people posting feedback and praise for the current state of the game. A bit over a month later, a new tile spriter by the name of Do joined the team, showing some amazing looking tiles for the game, with the full new gameplay video following the next January. And suddenly there is a 2-year gap in the timeline. Mainly because my primary source, the Poké community thread, has run out, and the earliest other source, which still had old information up that I could find, was Tumblr. Moving on. On December 8th, 2012, a new demo of Pokémon Uranium was released. Sadly, like with the last one, the download link is broken. Together with it, a couple screenshots and sprites were shown to the public, including the starters. The Fire Starter has at this point been swapped out for a different Pokémon. On January 19th, 2013, Beta 3.0 was released, which at this point already featured 10 to 12 hours of gameplay, with over 80 original Pokémon to catch and 9 towns to explore. The next version of the demo was 3.1, which was released on May 26th, 2013. It mainly brought 4 new Pokémon and a ton of bug fixes. Over a year later, on July 11th, 2014, a full trailer for the game was released, showcasing multiple towns at different times of day, as well as multiple routes. It also shows the battle UI, as well as a couple of the new Pokémon. On Christmas Eve 2014, players had another reason to be happy other than the holidays. Beta 4.0 was released. 2 more patches later, on September 1st, 2015, a new face joined the Uranium team. The musical composer Electric Mudkip, nowadays known as Emdasche. The next day, the last patch before the final release, Beta Patch 4.3, was released. At this point in time, the game was close to being done, now with really good original music, rebalancing, revamped sprites, and a lot more. And then, on August 6th, 2016, the game was released. After 9 years in development, hopefully it was worth the wait. It certainly was. The game takes place in the Tandor region, which is home to 166 new Pokémon, 6 of which are not fully implemented. The Pokédex also features 34 canonical Pokémon, bringing the total to 194. 200 if you count the not implemented ones. The first big change you'll notice when starting a new game is that you have the option not between 2, but 3 protagonists. A male, female, and a third one, with an ambiguous gender, which is a very welcome change. Instead of picking your starter like you usually do in Pokémon, you have to complete the Pokémon Trainer Aptitude Test, a series of 4 questions that determine which starter Pokémon you get. Another thing to note here is that all starter Pokémon already have 2 types, and 1 attack of the primary type, which makes the first battle against your rival really damn easy. The most notable thing from the start, however, is the incredible soundtrack, with many original pieces by Electric Mudkip / Emdasche, and a lot of remixes from other Pokémon games. Overall, the game feels like a really faithful 2D Pokémon, with the usual 8 gyms and everything, as well as a story that ties it all together. The story is much heavier than the usual Pokémon games, with multiple core things that are established early on being brought up multiple times, and only increasing in severity. The game has a far more mature feel to it. Its target audience definitely isn't the usual Pokémon audience. It picks me up where I'm at, a more mature person who wants something a bit more deep than just the normal stuff. And holy crap, the story is certainly something. I'm just gonna put this here. Major story spoilers ahead. If you want to experience the game for yourself first, I highly recommend that you skip this chapter and continue at chapter 4. Still here? Then let's get going. 10 years before the events of the game, the protagonist was living with their parents. Their father, Kellen, was a Pokémon ranger, and their mother, Lucille, a brilliant nuclear researcher and scientist. That was until one day, the nuclear reactor Lucille worked at started overheating. Kellen became cold and dedicated to his job. He was promoted to the leader of the Rangers. He didn't have time for his own child anymore. So the protagonist grew up with their great aunt. At the start of the game, Auntie is becoming too weak to properly take care of the protagonist. So the protagonist and their childhood friend Theo together embark on their own Pokémon journey as research assistants for Professor Bambo. After receiving the second badge, you arrive in Rockvale Town, which is home to the Cypress Pokémon Lab. The lab recently had a break-in, and you're tasked with finding out who stole the Pokémon from the lab. But left the most valuable item behind, the Pokémon Speech Translator. You receive this marvel of technology in exchange for finding out who was behind the break-in. A Pokémon known as Garlickid. It freed the Pokémon at the lab in the belief that they were subjected to harm. After a couple of weird mishaps and Theo crying multiple times, you arrive at Beale Beach City. After a very unsatisfactory reunion, you're tasked with helping out at the nuclear power plant Epsilon, which is on the exact same island as the place where your mother disappeared 10 years ago. There you reunite with Cameron, Theo's dad who used to work with Lucille before she disappeared. You proceed to search for answers in the old power plant, and on your way you encounter very weird Pokémon that have gone completely feral and seem irradiated. This is the game's main new addition, a 19th Pokémon type, Nuclear. Nuclear Pokémon are absolute glass cannons and have a tendency to disobey you, apart from a couple exceptions. Inside the ruins of the old power plant, you find 5 reports of what seems to be weird experiments of some sorts. After swiftly passing out from radiation poisoning, you get rescued by Cameron and the rescue team. Time to tackle the 3rd gym! Yay! Right after exiting the 3rd gym, sirens are going off in the distance. There has been a disaster at the power plant Epsilon, and sadly, it seems too late for Cameron to evacuate. After promptly fleeing to tackle another gym, the sirens are going off again. Another meltdown. Power plant Zeta went kaboom, and you are being evacuated once again. After that, it's smooth sailing until after the 8th gym, where, once again, sirens are going off. Somebody is attacking the nuclear power plant Omicron. I absolutely do not want to spoil the conclusion to this masterpiece of a game, so please just play it for yourself if you haven't. I know this makes this whole chapter seem completely half-baked, and I already left out some things, but seriously, just play it. It's worth it. And I am not the only one who thinks that. It's safe to say that Pokémon Uranium dropped like a nuke. Many online media outlets jumped on the little indie project. It hit the front page on Reddit. People were playing and praising the game left and right, and it even overtook the upcoming Generation 7 in popularity. The game was even nominated for Best Fan Creation at the Game Awards 2016. But just 1 week later, everything seemed to be going downhill. With over 1.5 million downloads, Nintendo DMCA'd the official download links of the game. While the Uranium team hadn't been contacted directly yet, the message was loud and clear, and they decided to no longer provide official download links for the game. Another massive wave of press followed soon after the statement was released, with beautiful clickbait stating that the game was banned. The game was in its final moments, and it seemed like it would all vanish a lot faster than expected. The final nail in the coffin arrived on September 1st in the form of a letter at the front door of Involuntary Twitch, one of the major people behind the game. It was from the legal company representing Nintendo of America, and they needed to stop everything to avoid getting sued. They pulled the plug the following day. The website, forum, and online services went offline. All official social media accounts went dark after one final announcement on September 21st. Shortly after, the community took over the game, moving everything to a new domain and releasing numerous bug fixes and 2 new big patches after the original developers left, including localizations and an update to the custom mode, which now allows you to not only natively play Nuzlocke, but also a lot of other challenges as well. Pokémon Uranium is probably the most innovative Pokémon game I've played in years. The much heavier story with its twists and turns was amazing. That a small team of dedicated fans would create such a masterpiece of a game purely because they love the franchise so much is absolutely insane in the most positive way possible. And yes, I am one of the people who still think that Nintendo's actions were not the best, to say the least. Just something about the fact that it completely struck down such a labor of love still bothers me to this day, even if it was in their right to do so. If you still haven't played it, I highly recommend that you do so. And with all that being said, happy 5th anniversary to my 3rd favorite Pokémon game of all time.